Yeah, Farida, we have
Divya,
started.
are you there?
Farida,
Okay.
we have started. It is streaming live on ECA Facebook page. You can start, Farida.
Okay. Okay. I think Divya's screen is frozen. Is Divya there? Can someone just...
Yeah, Farida, you start. I will just check with her screen.
Okay. Okay. Because we have, I think, 1 or 2 minutes before 11:30. So if we can get her, then I think we should wait for a minute or so. Is...
Farida, we are actually live on the page. So if you can start.
Okay, perfect, perfect, great, great. A big hello to everyone present here. A big hello from ECA. I am Farida Bhavani, founder of Chryselect Education Solutions, as well as the Mumbai ECA territory head. I am also your host for today. And I have here with me 3 shining stars in the field of education. They are my 3 really eminent panelists. I have Sheetal Kapoor, Miss Sheetal Kapoor, Miss Divya Punjabi, Neelu Kalro. Let me begin by... Hello. Let me begin by introducing everyone. I will start with Miss Sheetal Kapoor. Miss, if you can just say a hi to everyone so we know who...
Hello, everybody.
Superb. Great. So Miss Sheetal Kapoor has an MSc in child development, and she has more than 25 years of experience in the field of education. She is currently heading the curriculum, training, as well as the counseling section at the Witty Kids group of schools. Her expertise lie in teacher training, as well as creating grade appropriate curriculums, and she is also an expert in parent counseling. Sheetal is also the joint secretary of the ECA Mumbai committee. Thank you so much, Sheetal, for taking our time and coming here and sharing with us what about this topic and what science and math is all about.
Thank you so much, Farida, for that lovely introduction, and a big virtual hug to all of you all.
Yes, virtual hug to everyone here.
It's so nice to be here.
Yes, I'll move on to Miss Divya Punjabi. I think she's not here, but I think she will join us. But let me continue by introducing her right now. Divya Punjabi has been associated with the KKEL, that's Kangaroo Kids Education Limited, last 25 years. She has a bachelor's in home science and has completed her Cambridge International Diploma in teacher training. She has also done the program leader course in education leadership from Cambridge. Divya is currently the culture custodian at Kangaroo Kids Education Limited. And Divya is the vice president of the Early Childhood Association. Hello, Divya.
Hi.
We skipped a heartbeat for a minute because we just couldn't see you and we were wondering what happened. I was hoping you wouldn't do a Mr. India on us.
I had to
So
change
great.
my position. Yeah.
Okay, so great. It's wonderful to have you. And I have just given your introduction to everyone. And now let's move on to Miss Neelu Kalro. Neelu is a passionate and compassionate educator with a strong belief that skill development should be there for life and that the child should be at the center of education. She is currently the IBDP and CAS coordinator heading the early years department at JBCN International School, Oshiwara. She is currently also the territory head of Mumbai ECA. She is a parenting expert and advocates joyous childhoods for children. Neelu has completed training in the early years as well as primary years education from IPC USA, and she has also done the CICTL from Cambridge University. Hello, Neelu.
Hi, Farida. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and good morning to our dear audience.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to be, on a platform that is represented by ECA, and I can see, a group of 60 plus odd audiences looking at us, and it's absolutely wonderful. So let me begin the topic. My topic for today is math and science at home. Your home is your lab. So now when I learned about the topic, when I, got to know about this topic, I was taken back to my schooling days where math was always about, computation, learning the tables, learning the formulas, learning the theorems. And science was about learning the definitions of force and motion and the periodic table in chemistry and memorizing facts about humans, the human body, as well as plant life. We have to memorize content and deliver the content in an exam. We've passed our exams and now we are living our lives. So, does math and science have a place in the lives that we are leading? And as parents, without a teaching degree, how can parents encourage an understanding of math and science in our children, in these children? So with that thought, my first question is to Miss Shita. Okay, my question to you is, please tell us what is an understanding of math, what comprises of math, and what can parents do at home with their children to create this understanding of math?
Thanks so much, Farida, for the question. So math is not quite the monster that we've made it out to be. In fact,
yes,
yeah, in fact, it's the music of reason, and it's all around us. None of us can escape math, and we have to understand that math is more comprehension than numbers. It is all about understanding because all along we've been told that maths is numbers, but maths is much, much more than that. And in order to understand math, we need to understand the language of math. There is a language to it which gets camouflaged behind all the numbers. So there are a whole lot of pre-math vocabulary and pre-math skills that we need to look at rather than only looking at numbers. So your home is your lab, like you very rightly.
right.
Your home is your
Right,
lab.
right.
It's easily accessible and it's all around you. It's everywhere, whether in terms of the vocabulary, whether in terms of numbers, it's all there. You cannot escape. Okay? And why should you? Because that is one of the very, very important components of your life. So I will quickly get down to certain examples which the parents and the audience can take back home. So
I just want to kind of, interrupt you because I think you said a very, very important term over here. There is a language of math. So yes, and there are skills that children need to develop.
Absolutely, and
rather than just learning your 2 to 4. Yes.
So,
and you're going to share some activities with us.
Yes. And it's all about keeping our children engaged, and especially let me take the lockdown as a context, because this is what, and it's going on extending, and parents are really pulling their hair out that what do we do with our children.
Correct.
So I feel routine is very important. Routine is nothing but a sequence of your entire day. And
right.
That is your pre-math vocabulary again. Correct. So it is important to begin your day with a kind of a routine. So in these lockdown days, we are losing count of days. We are losing count of the dates as well.
True.
So it would be a good idea. And nowadays, I don't see physical calendars in anybody's homes. There is no calendar as such. I grew up with that. वो काल निर्णय हुआ करता था. There used to be a calendar at home. Now I don't see those things happening. So the easiest that a parent can do is take a chart paper. Chart paper is not available. Take a sheet of paper, maybe weekly, and put it up very strategically so that the child can enter the day of the week and the date. Now, if that is not numbers, then what it is? And if that's not your 7 days of the week, and beyond that to ordinal positions, is it the first day of the week? Is it the 5th day of the week? Is it the 30th day of the lockdown?
Yes.
Some sequence.
I think you've brought out such an important concept here. To understand the passage of time, routine is also so important.
Very important.
The concept of day and night, seasons, and understanding, today, tomorrow, yesterday, these concepts, and seeing it on, a sheet of paper, creating that calendar.
Generally, children have, because today, tomorrow, yesterday is a very ambiguous term. For children, everything is, there is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow, everything is today. So because of its ambiguity, it is important that we give some structure to these ambiguous terms. Another thing that also is important is the routine. That because whether we use an analog clock or we use the digital, it's important for them to be able to, they may or may not be, depending on the age, they may or may not be able to read the analog. The digital, it's so it's important for them to therefore be writing down that, okay, this is my breakfast time, this is my lunch time, this is my play time.
Meal times.
And also your routine, because we are getting lost somewhere. There is no sleep time. Everything is getting all merged. So if it is screen time, the entire day is screen time. If it's play time, the entire day is play time. So children are getting a little lost in this. So we need to help them find method in this madness that's happening. So that is one thing that I would be suggesting. Another thing that I would be also suggesting to parents is, again, coming back to the pre-math vocabulary, cleaning out your cutlery drawer. Child labor is samjho, but it is
no, it is absolutely not that term. I'm not even going to say it, because doing chores at home is something that ECA really advocates. So yes, cleaning the cutlery, ordering it out,
ordering, sequencing it, putting the big spoons together, putting the small spoons together. So it is important for them to understand, because this is a maths in motion. It's right there in front of you.
Absolutely.
You understand what's happening.
Yes.
Setting the table is another thing which I'm a huge advocate of. And even when my boys were little, I would always...
Please tell us the skill that we develop when laying the table.
Absolutely. So 1:1 correspondence. How many members in the family? That many dinner plates, that many bowls, that many spoons, that many glasses. So 1:1 correspondence.
1-to-1 correspondence. Correct.
Again, these are all invariable and incidental math skills, which we are not sitting down deliberately to teach them, but it's just happening. It's, as I say, it is part of your life. It's not It's not far removed from your everyday life.
Yes.
Cooking experience, making lemonade, 1:2 proportion, teaching them proportions.
Yes, teaching them volume and capacity. Where will the water glass fill till, and how measurement? How many cups of water?
Yes.
Superb.
And where we are taking the proportions, putting together a sandwich, assembling a sandwich. There is a sequence.
Brilliant. Yes.
Am I going to take the entire slice of bread and apply cheese on it, or am I going to apply cheese on half of the slice, and am I going to apply sauce or a green chutney on the other half? Fractions are coming.
Yes. Fractions, sequencing. What will I apply first?
Absolutely.
And this would be
maybe for an older age group, but probably keeping account of the expenditure. Every day there is a little bit of expenditure that's happening, though we are not stepping out. But the minimal grocery or the milk carton coming in, or
maybe for the older kids.
maybe for the older kids. That's what I gave the discussion right in the beginning. That this
Okay.
Older kids, and probably budgeting, calculating how many loaves of bread in a week, how many. So here you've got multiplication skills coming in. So there are a whole lot of things that we can do. Another thing that I feel is important in this day and age, maybe not in the older, maybe when we grow up, maybe memorizing is not so important. But if you look at the base of Bloom's, it is important for children to be able to recall emergency numbers. So probably we could write them on their
True. Yes.
Important for them to have emergency numbers at any point in time, not only now, otherwise also, because nowadays we're all looking at 10 digits, and I'm not expecting children to sit there and by rote they should be knowing those 10 digits. But it is always important and handy from a safety and security point of view to have those numbers.
Sheetal, yes. In fact, I just wanted to ask you, so you've covered so many math concepts, but one, subject that used to
I have lost you.
Scare me was geometry. So is there
shapes?
Can you hear me? Yes. Can you please let us know what parents can do to inculcate an understanding of geometry with
shapes?
The younger kids?
Sandwiches, cutting them in different shapes. We've got fractions over there.
Yes.
I Spy is a very nice game which we can play with our children. I Spy is something that is a square with 4 legs, and I'll sit on it. What is it? I Spy something that's round and whirring on the ceiling which has 3 blades. What is it? So I Spy games are very, very interesting. Something which is my personal favorite is, once it is of course the secondary level of learning. Second level of learning is drawing clouds. It's my where children look at the shape of the cloud and they draw.
And shape is not restricted to your square, circle, triangle. A shape is a shape, and it may have various kinds of lines, squiggly lines, as well as all kinds of lines. Wonderful. So I'm going to sum up Sheetal over here. You've tried to cover.
But it's okay.
I'm going to come back to you, because I think I want to kind of do justice to everyone as well. So I think I'm just going to summarize, what you've kind of said till now. You've very aptly put across that, there is a language of math, and there are pre-math skills that need to be developed and this is a time where children can be encouraged to do activities, dealing with numbers, playing with toys to understand colors, shapes. Brilliant, great. And you've also covered concepts like a measurement strand in geometry and geometry strands where you spoke about shapes. Is there anything, your last comments to do with anything to do with measurement or problems?
So informal tools for measurement, hand span and foot span is something that very easily we can use. Allowing children to count how many steps did they take from A to B, maybe, and comparing it with how many steps mom will take or dad will take. Obviously, there'll be a difference because there is a difference in the size of the foot, and there's a difference in the size of your stride as well. So measurements using hand and foot span. That would be.
So what you're proposing, before you introduce the concept of a ruler or a weighing scale, you introduce non-standard units of measurement. Wonderful, great. Thank you, Sheetal.
Because Jal Tarang, we can never forget Jal Tarang.
Yes.
Quaint Indian musical instrument.
Yes.
So easy to create at home. 7 glasses at different, again, volume. We are talking about volume over here, where you would have water at different levels and listening to the
capacity. Yes.
It is so soothing. So I think
Perfect. So this is like a great marriage between music and math.
absolutely.
Brilliant. Lovely. My question now is to Miss Divya Punjabi. So we've heard about, an understanding of math and what are the kind of activities that, we can do at home with our kids. Divya, please enlighten us as to what is science? What is an understanding of science? And what can parents do at home with their kids?
Sure. Thanks, Farida. Uh, Farida, so we all know that real learning actually happens outside the classroom when children can apply the skills and the concepts that have been taught at school in the real world. And
Right.
that's why you are a parent of Kangaroo Kids. So you know a lot of home extensions that we give because we know that that's where the real learning happens. So let's first look at what are the outcomes we look at when we want to teach science in a preschool. So I think the first outcome that we look at is that the children who are naturally curious and discoverers, how do we empower them to use the science processes in the real world? How can they learn about the world by using those processes? Also, we need to nurture their natural curiosity so that they can inquire and discover about the world. So I think the main objective is to keep the curiosity alive and allow them to inquire. So if I have to divide the different areas of science in a preschool, the first one would be the science processes. Then you have the life sciences, which talks about plants and animals. Then you have the physical and chemical science. I'm not talking physics and chemistry, but actually exposing them to that kind of science. And earth and space science, which is abstract, but we would deal with it in maybe in senior KG.
Maybe so learning about the planets and...
Yes. Yeah. So what are these science processes that we are talking about? So I think the first process that we need to encourage children is the process of observing. Okay. Give them opportunities to observe around the world. I mean, if you give a child a magnifying glass, he'll explore the veins on the leaves. So you've got plants at home. Let them observe patterns in fruits and vegetables. What are the similarities? What are the differences? Some fruits and vegetables have thick skin. Some have thin skin. Some we eat with peels. Some we don't eat with the peels. Some are pulpy. Some are juicy. So the minute they start observing, that's when the real learning happens. The second science process would be classifying, grouping, or categorizing. It's essentially a science foundational skill, but it's used a lot in maths. As we know, we integrate subjects.
I was just going to tell you that I can see so many linkages between math and science here.
Yeah. Yes. So if we allow children to group food items, fruits, vegetables, sort them, group the vegetables which grow above the ground, below the ground. What are the food groups? Do you eat your rainbow colors every day? If you have like a plate where they are putting all the colors of fruits and vegetables, they are categorizing. Has to be age appropriate so they know what they are looking at. The third science process is communicating. It's very important that children are communicating what they are observing. Need not be they have to write everything, they can draw. This also builds their literacy skills. Right? Because they are either they'll do it verbally or they can illustrate. Anything is possible. I mean, as per their age group. Also measuring, although measuring Sheetal has covered, but if parents can actually ask children how many hours or days does the beans take to sprout? How much time does an egg take to boil versus a potato being boiled? Because these are all things which are happening at home, right? And I think this period is the best time when parents can extend the learning at home. The next one is predicting, and then I'll come to inferring. So you have two potted plants. You keep one plant in sunlight and you keep the other plant in a dark area. The classic. Let the children predict. Let's not give them the answers. And give them opportunities to predict on things that they know and they are not guessing. And then let them infer that, instead of saying that all living things or plants need light for photosynthesis, when they see the plant which was kept in sunlight blooming and the one which was kept in darkness withering, you don't have to teach a science fact to the child. It's a process that he picks up himself. So the next one would be physical science. A lot of physical science the kids can see from their toys. When they are pulling the car, there is force. When they're kicking a ball, there is a push. So we don't have to teach the science concept as push, and it's all around them in their equipment.
So are you saying that, you know, by just in a ball to play, he's learning a science concept, or is there something more?
No, absolutely. You have to ask them the I wonder questions.
Okay.
That's when inquiry, the minute we give information, then the child is not making his own inference. You're forcing the fact down his, you know, that you have to know this. So when you're talking about physics, properties of water, states of water, your kitchen is a laboratory. If you show them water turning into ice, when you boil water, evaporation, condensation, there, your water cycle is done. Jelly, when you're setting jelly, which is liquid.
Okay.
So these are all, that's what I'm saying. Your kitchen is your lab right now, and make the most of it. We don't have help at home. We can use our little chefs.
We have our little helpers at home.
We have our little chefs.
Yes, so, my daughter is teaching me how to make pancakes.
Lovely.
So and she's learning chemistry.
So what you can do is that make one pancake without the baking soda and one with baking soda.
That's exactly what we did. That is exactly what we did. And this was by chance, but it was a good thing. Yeah, that happened.
So even about float and sink, why do we tell them that heavy objects float? Give them a bucket of toys, give them an entire thing, and let them see what floats, that heavy objects will float. Sorry, heavy will sink and this will float. Yeah.
Not all the time also.
Yeah, it depends.
Not all the time. Not all the
so
time.
Also playing with water. If you want them to just enjoy, have some emotional catharsis, give them a bucket of water, give them funnels, give them sieves, give them measuring cups. Let them explore that how many cups would be required to fill a bottle. I think the one activity as a kid that I used to enjoy was invisible ink. You know, in Untitled, the secret messages you write with lemon juice, you put it under light. I think that's something parents can do right now at home, sending thank you messages to one another, which is very, very intriguing for kids. Using food color to make secondary colors. So that's something you can do at home. You can make Play-Doh out of it. Let the children enjoy playing with food colors. Capillary action. Take a flower, dip it in colored water and see the color of the flower. You take a white carnation and you will get it over there.
You know, I just want to kind of touch upon this activity. I used to do it with my daughter as well as some kids at school. So capillary action is where the water climbs up. So we kind of do this thing of predicting, will it climb up the wall? If I take the colored water near the wall, will it climb up the wall? Or will it climb up the tissue paper? Will it climb up a sponge? So having the children kind of predict. Yes.
Yeah, so they'll guess, they'll also get to know the properties of different materials.
True.
Then also we need to understand that our children can be scientists in the kitchen when they're using their five senses. Even when you're making popcorn, you're actually touching all the five senses. Feel the kernels, how does the texture change, listen to the sound, the smell, and obviously they would love the taste. Baking bread. What happens if you put yeast to bread? When you're making egg whites to make meringue, how the air bubbles are captured to make it fluffy. So this is all chemistry, physics that you can teach at home, which is very, very easy to teach them. Promoting healthy food habits, eating healthy food. So when you are having your lunch or dinner, the conversation should be, where did this food come from? Which part of the plant are we eating? Are we eating the leaves? Are we eating the flowers? Are we eating the, how does food grow? How does food change when we cook it? How does the potato become softer? So I think all this, if children are involved in making their menu, They are healthy eating, so you don't have to force that you have to eat healthy food instead of junk food. Also, the other thing that I used to do that with my son also, is label the different kinds of activities that I do in the kitchen, in the sense melting, frying, steaming, boiling. So again, these are vocabulary that you're building and you're using that in the kitchen. Now, the last one that I want to talk about is the earth and earth sciences. For that, parents can even just read books. You've got, I think one of my favorite book is Papa, Please Get the Moon for Me by Eric Carle. So it's a very, very interesting book. Then you've got There's No Place Like Space by Dr. Seuss. And you get a lot of activities. Go on to the NASA site. You can show them about the world, show them the globe, where we are, where that food comes from. So you've got actually integrating with social studies, composting, segregating wet and dry waste.
Divya, brilliant activities. I think this is that open magic book, and every second I'm getting activities. And if parents are there, I hope you're not. I hope you have a pen and paper, because she's possibly rattled down 50 activities by now, and I think she will not stop until I have to tell her that. Okay, so Divya, I think I'm just going to summarize.
I just want to end, Farida, with one point. Sorry, but I want to end with one main point of science. It's about creating the I wonder mindset in children. So encourage them to ask open-ended questions. You ask open-ended questions, you will get more discoveries. Questions like, I wonder why food spoils. I wonder what makes bread rise. I wonder what makes food taste differently. What makes it salty. Teach them through hands-on experiences. Science is not about memorizing facts, but it is about doing things together. Show them the delight of looking at the world through the eyes of a scientist. That's my parting note.
I love that parting
note. Thank you, Farida.
I don't think you've left anything much for me to say or, summarize, because you've just done this beautifully with just that one phrase, the I wonder.
Yeah.
But I'm going to move on to Miss Neelu. Hello, Neelu. And my question to you is that we had, Sheetal and Divya talk and advocate math and science being done at home. My question to you is, while the children, are doing these activities, is there something else that is also being developed, while they're doing math and science? Or is it just math that is happening separately, science that is happening separately? Can you please elaborate on this?
Thank you, Farida, for this question. And thank you to my fellow panelists for putting out math and science in such a beautiful way, where these activities have actually come alive. And if parents are listening, these can be our day-to-day engagements. So during these stay-at-home times. But if you look at these activities in detail, we realize that when we look at subject matter in an isolated path, like this is math and science,
that's how we learned it in school, no? We had a period, subject.
You don't know where math started and where science entered, or where science has ended and math has entered back. Similarly, it is the case with other skills that we're talking about. Like we did touch upon that literacy skills can be a part of it. So when we have the whole child in front of us, why are we looking at teaching in parts and bits? Might as well allow the child to wonder, be curious, to kind of delve into his innate curiosity, to explore and to reach to discovery learning. Let's take a few examples of subject integration, as I call it.
Wonderful. I love that term.
Where subjects are moving, flowing seamlessly in and out with each other, and the child is picking and learning at any point of time what he feels is his own understanding and creating his own learning. So let's talk about a simple activity like making lemonade, what Sheetal spoke about. So how many members? 5. So 5 classes we have to make. What's going to be the measure of sugar or salt in it? Does sugar dissolve, salt dissolve? How are we going to, stir it together? How long are we going to keep it to then become cold? How will we serve it on a tray? Who's going to take it? So if you actually see, there's a lot of math, there's science, there's literacy. Imagine making a stay-at-home journal. So parents, what they can do in these times, times when we are home, make a stay-at-home journal where a child is able to record, write down, illustrate, as Divya said, if they are in the younger age group, they may not be able to write. So illustrate what is your understanding and what did you do. If it's a senior KG or a child who's 5 and 6-year-old, he may even be able to write in short sentences. Create your own journal. That's where your language skills, literary skills, communication skills, a lot of thinking skills come together. And if you observe and you give a little thought, these are all moving seamlessly into one another, and the domains are not any boundaries where they are restricting. So when children become illustrators, they become problem solvers, and each child comes with some amount of prior knowledge. They are not completely blank, right? It's the environment that has supported their learning, may it be school, may it be home. Parents do a lot with the children. Even a simple read aloud session is enough to get so much information that comes into a child. And this is where these skills get developed. So we're talking about communication, expression. We are talking about language. Let's touch upon social sciences. When a child sits with mummy or papa to make a grocery list, what are we getting today when we go down, or what is it that we are calling for? Sheetal talked about budgeting. We are talking about that. Why is it important to order mindfully, to use mindfully? How do we maintain, sustain, and how do we reduce, reuse, or recycle stuff for that matter? This is a huge learning. Isn't this what we learn in our social sciences?
Yes.
Learn about environment, community, the earth, how we interact with each other, and how this community comes together to create that learning. So we are talking about different isolated subjects coming together as a whole. Let's take an example of kneading the dough, making atta at home.
Okay. Yes.
You are taking one measure of atta or flour, and then how many measures of water? Is the consistency right? Can we really? Let's try and make the chapati, roll it. Not happening. What can we do now? So you're asking them what, why, how, as they were saying, I wonder. So they're wondering, they're thinking, they're problem solving, and that's their own learning that they're constructing. So anything that parents are doing at home or in their kitchen, rightly said, it's a laboratory. Whatever they are doing, they are learning so much out of it, and they're learning it mindfully. They're learning that all this has to be done in a way that we are able to sustain this time and many more times to come. What about mother tongue? When you are talking to your child in the mother tongue and asking your child, would you like to tell me back? The child is either doing it in English, Hindi, Punjabi, whichever language you're conversant in, recording it into his journal in a language that he knows. He is doing nothing but getting in a lot of language. When he or she is viewing pictures, putting things out, looking through with the parent, at that point in time, there are so many skills that are being done. Isn't this social emotional learning? Aren't these social emotional skills? Let's take an example of yoga with grandmama, or let's take dance with mama, or exercise with papa. What are we doing then? We're learning about science. We're learning about our body, how to maintain the agility, how we're going to eat healthy food, how does it help us. We are also learning about making choices, making right choices for activities which make us more agile, more fit, more healthy. And why? So have that discussion. In fact, what parents at this time can do, I would really recommend a stay-at-home journal and a constant running commentary with your child. I understand we are in our work mode too, but yes, this will go a long way, wherein the child is using the home, community, and everything that he is doing through play. May it be solitary play, or may it be imaginative play, or play with peers and family. That's a lot of learning and skills involved, with all subjects not isolated but coming as a interconnected whole.
Thank you so much. But Nilu, you mentioned these three terms: solitary play, imaginative play. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What are these terms for parents? I mean, maybe they would not know.
I'd love to, Farida. And solitary play is when a child is playing with self. Imaginative plays, it could be fear, it can be with a prop, it can be with self, in whatever way. And in this way, when children play, they reach an imaginative world. They create what they've seen in real life, that becomes their reality at that point in time. And a lot of ideations, estimations, predictions, a lot of thought process is going on at that point in time. What I'm trying to say here, parents, is it's okay to get bored. It's okay to only give way to silently sit down, mindfully observe what's happening around you, and at the same time, then indulge in something which becomes a learning point for you.
True. You know, this just reminds me of something that happened day before yesterday. My daughter loves to collect pebbles and stones, all colorful stones. So yesterday she was just sitting with her collection of pebbles, and she must have spent close to 35 to 40 minutes only with those and talking to herself. And I think this absolutely is, what you just explained, Neelu, the concept of solitary play and engaging with yourself. Thank you so much for this gamut of wonderful activities. I can see someone has been keeping a track of the activities where it's been mentioned that in these 40 to 45 minutes, we've actually explored 40 activities. So wonderful panelists. This has been absolutely brilliant. I think what I want to kind of, summarize this discussion with is a poem that I read the other day. I have tweaked it a little bit. The poem is by Ilani Bennett, and I have given it a little spin. So I'm just going to read it out. So, you coax me away from my play, my all consuming play, to teach me math and science by sitting with me at the table with my workbooks and my worksheets. While I'm sitting with you and trying to learn, all I can think about is my all consuming play. Because when I was playing, I was using shapes to measure, and I was making patterns with my toys, and I was predicting which toy will go down the ramp faster. Will it be the bigger car or the smaller car? But then I got pulled away by you so you could teach me math and science.
So relevant. That's beautiful, Farida, and just sums up what we've been talking since morning.
Yes, yes. I think this is, I think, a message to all parents that try not to create environments or activities which are, dedicated only towards a worksheet or a workbook. Math is not only about knowing the number names and numerals and addition facts. As our panelists have mentioned, it is to gain an understanding of the language of math and the language of science, and most importantly, learning life skills, which Neelu has so beautifully summed up. At the end of the session, I want to thank and the invisible hand, which has been here like a guiding force throughout, and she has been like the Mr. India on this group. Thank you so much, Harsha ji. She has made this whole session possible. I'm going to see if before I end, I'm going to see if I have any questions which are there in my group. No, I think I'm getting some amazing feedback. Everyone is absolutely happy with the kind of suggestions that have been mentioned. Any parting comments from the panelists?
I'd just like to share, one of my colleagues has put up, that's Hirna. She said it's OWL, owl, observe, wonder, and learn. I think that summarizes the session very well. She's done it. Thank you, Hirna.
Thank you so much, Hirna. And yeah, I'm going to remember the owl now.
Yes. The wise owl.
Yes. Anybody, Neelu, you want to say a few parting words, or?
Just that let's keep our learning alive, and learning becomes meaningful when it is done in real world context. So whatever parents are doing at home, spending time, leaving the child alone to do on his or her own, is actually the deepest learning that they're gaining, and all subject matter integrated with it.
Yes, yes.
All I would like to say is enjoy your child, because your child is not going to remain a child forever. So just enjoy your child, and learning just happens. If you're in a happy space, learning happens.
True.
And use this time to build more of resilience and all those other life skills that children will require in the future, because hopefully this will not happen again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fingers
and
crossed.
Adaptability, flexibility, this is the time that the kids will get emotional resilience. So use this time for that.
To become more responsible.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful session, and thank you for such a lovely, and thank you for the most amazing panelists.
Thank you so much, Farida.
Thank you, Farida. Thank you, Neelu, Sheetal, and Harshaji.
And thank you, ECA, for this wonderful platform.
Yes. Thank you, ECA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harshaji, and
Thank
bye,
you.
Farida.
Thank you so much.
We
Thank
look forward
you.
in better times. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you.